I would like to start the proceedings here with a very, I would say, brief welcome. Let me start saying good morning to our colleagues in India and good afternoon, our friends and colleagues here. Are very challenging times. So I'm sure Professor Barney Glover will be in India this year at some stage and see you guys in person. A very special welcome to Professor Raj Kumar, the Vice Chancellor and the President of OP Jindal Global University, and our colleagues from OP Jindal. You can see our Vice Chancellor and President, Professor Barney Glover here. He is driving our internationalization agenda here. And I think India is a very special to us and to our university. You also see some familiar faces here. Stella Wu, our Associate Dean International from School of Business is here. Stuart is here. And our Pro-Vice Chancellor International, Linda Taylor, not here, but she's just joining us. She's just joining us. And International Office has been instrumental in driving this arrangement. I mentioned about Stella. Stella and our colleagues from School of Business and International Office have worked very closely with Professor Ashish Bharadwaj and the OP Jindal team to develop a very innovative, creative, cost-effective, and a credible articulation arrangement. Now, this program is a successful example of collaboration, coordination, and co-creation. Very briefly, this is a 0.5+2 program. The students will be undertaking a 6-month Jindal Applied Finance Certificate at OP Jindal University, and the holders of this qualification will receive advanced standing into our 2 years MBA, Master of Applied Finance, Double Masters program. I must say that whilst we are reaching a significant milestone today, we still have to do lots of hard work. So we'll be working together as a team to ensure that this impactful program is a great success for our two institutions, our academic professional staff, and our students. Now with that, I'll pass on the floor to Professor Ashish to say a few words. Ashish, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dean Amir Mohammed. It's a pleasure to be here. We have a very condensed program, so I'll get started very quickly. I just want to share with everyone that we are streaming this live on YouTube. So chin up, smile on the faces. I recall that we had a delegation visit from JGU led by our Vice Chancellor, visit WSU in December 2019, just few months before the world turned upside down. We were delighted to meet Vice Chancellor Glover, Pro-Vice Chancellor Linda Taylor, Dean Amir Mohammed, and so many other faculty members. So 2.5 years since then, we are now finally signing the articulation agreement. I have to talk a little bit about this agreement, and I want to do that in about 2-3 minutes because students might be watching this video and they will certainly be looking at it later this year when they'll make an informed decision. So let me tell you what this agreement is about and why it's going to be a very attractive proposition. I'll build on what Amir has already said. It's a 0.5+2 articulation into the MBA and Master of Applied Finance program from WSU for our students who successfully complete their BCom honors studies at JGU and few other degree completion requirements. Now, to ensure that the incoming students have the requisite relevant foundational knowledge to excel in these very demanding graduate level programs at WSU, we innovated. That's what Amir touched on. The innovation is that we crafted a very unique, short, efficient bridge, and that's the 0.5 component of the program. And we have given it a name. It's called the Jindal Applied Finance Certificate for the WSU bound students. It's credited, it's very carefully organized, and it has a backward linkage to their BCom studies. It has a strong forward linkage to what's going to come at a graduate level in WSU. After completing the BCom degree and the applied finance certificate, students will then progress into the two master's program, which if done in a methodical manner, in full-time mode, then it will earn them an MBA degree, in MBA International, I suppose, and a Master of Applied Finance in 2 years, which is phenomenal. And that's the +2 component. So students, if you hear 0.5 plus 2, it's not a question around calculus. It's the way we have articulated this entire complex, innovative partnership. Now, why we have done it this way, as Dean Mahmood said, it's this unique double master proposition is going to help catapult your career, especially those who are aspiring to join the global finance, global banking industry in a very digital post-pandemic world. And you get the best of two world-class institutions, OP Jindal Global University, and of course, Western Sydney University. We will be promoting the academic strengths of this program with our students. We will also be sharing relevant information about WSU and their business school. And we'll jointly work out an awareness program and internal outreach plan so that this information reaches the right students at the right time. I want to end by expressing my gratitude to Vice Chancellor and President Barney Glover, Pro Vice Chancellor Professor Linda Taylor, Dean Amir Mohammed, and so many other people, Professor Stella, so many others who helped us craft this agreement together. It required a lot of meetings. That's the back end of the business, which students don't need to worry about. But we spent a good number of weeks and hours during the 2 years of the unfortunate pandemic discussing each component of this agreement and this articulation very carefully. I also want to thank my colleagues, Professor Rajkumar, the Vice Chancellor, Dean Professor Mohan Kumar, who heads the International Strategy Office of the university, his colleague Akhil Bhardwaj. All of us have worked really hard on this, and we are looking forward to a successful implementation of this. I'm certain that the articulation will succeed. We've given it a lot of thought. Students have already started to express interest in knowing more about it. Australia is on the minds of a lot of aspiring young Indian students, and WSU is, of course, on that list. I hope we can also at some point discuss other areas of collaboration, including joint faculty research, something that Amir and I have discussed very briefly, perhaps something around doctoral program, doctoral level research, and perhaps at some point, joint conference on topics and themes that we both consider as relevant and topical. I'll stop there. We have a tight program. I will hand it over to JGU Vice Chancellor, founding Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajkumar, for his remarks. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you very much, Ashish. First of all, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you for this virtual signing of the articulation agreement between OP Jindal Global University and Western Sydney University, Australia. I have very vivid memories of meeting the distinguished Vice Chancellor of Western Sydney, Professor Barney Glover, on many occasions, and not only in Australia, although I very strongly remember our visit to the university and the wonderful conversation that we had, which has now culminated into what we are doing together. I am also grateful to the leadership of Professor Dr. Amir Mohammed, the Dean of the School of Business at the Western Sydney University, and also many other colleagues who have worked tirelessly hard, both from Jindal side, Dr. Nishik Bhatia, my own colleague, Professor Sean Starr, and also other colleagues who are present in the call today. I want to mention that this agreement that we are signing today is an example of what the future of international education is going to look like. I think it is only fair to say that the global pandemic for the last 2 years has in many ways challenged the status quo of higher education institutions, and all of us have innovated in ways that we never imagined before the pandemic. Some institutions have had the farsightedness to be more innovative, such as the Western Sydney University, and I want to congratulate the Vice Chancellor and all the senior leadership and faculty members and students and staff for the Western Sydney University to have tirelessly worked to overcome the pandemic and to reach a stage today where they can be more ambitious and aspirational about the kind of partnerships that they can build. We at OP Jindal Global University have also significantly evolved since the pandemic. We have launched a number of programs, particularly focusing on online education and blended learning. We are the first and only Indian university which the Coursera has partnered with to launch 3 online degree programs. We have been working successfully with an Indian edtech company called the Upgrad for having 2 blended learning programs, besides the establishment of 3 new schools and several new programs during the pandemic itself. So in a way, I'm very delighted that we are strengthening our relationship with Australia. We are imagining a unique opportunity for students to pursue a double master's pathway program with completing their BCom honors at JGU and going on to pursue the MBA International and Master of Applied Finance at the Western Sydney University. I also want to mention that for all the students who are watching this program, you have a fantastic opportunity to pursue a dual degree type situation in a lesser cost and lesser time when you end up pursuing such an opportunity. Both the Jindal School of Banking and Finance and the School of Business at the Western Sydney University have worked very hard to create innovative curriculum that will bridge the gap that ends up prevailing in programs of this kind. It will build on the strengths of both institutions and the opportunities that are available in both the countries as well. I also want to mention that increasingly Australia is seen as a very strong destination for higher education among the best and the brightest of Indian students. As a relatively young university in India, I am happy to report that a very large number of Indian Jindal students from India are pursuing higher education in Australia, and I do believe that Western Sydney University will be can be a preferred choice for a number of students who want to pursue such programs, particularly on the double masters pathway that we are launching today. I want to end by saying that I look forward to visiting WSU soon. And in the same vein, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Professor Glover and his colleagues, Professor Mahmood and others, to visit India and to visit OP Jindal Global University. Congratulations to all of you. And I look forward to taking this partnership to its logical conclusion. Thank you very much.
I would like to request Vice Chancellor from Western Sydney University, Professor Barney Glover, to share his remarks.
Thank you, and thank you to Professor Kumar for his comments. I appreciate the warm congratulations. I echo those same sentiments to the colleagues from both our universities that have worked together to bring us to this point of signing the agreement today to establish this important and unique pathway opportunity between our 2 universities. I think this is a very, very important historic moment for us in our collaboration, and I'm pleased to be able to join you in celebrating it and in signing the agreement in this 0.5+2 arrangement that Ashish has explained to prospective students, so they understand the significance of it, the value of the preparatory work that will go on at OP Jindal University, and then the opportunity to complete the combined MBA, Master of Applied Finance degrees at Western Sydney University. I think it's an important program. I agree with Professor Kumar that this is an example of the direction international education will take, particularly with India, in developing what are very innovative pathway programs, recognizing the strengths of both universities and ensuring that students can spend time in one location and then complete their programs in another. And I think that's something that we'll see develop further in the future. And as was commented earlier, I'm sure that we'll find beyond this initial dual master's program pathway arrangement, other areas where students from OP Jindal University can complete programs at Western Sydney University. So I think it is a very important moment. And I do recall the visit of Professor Kumar to Australia, and I think that it was not long after or during the 10th anniversary celebrations for your wonderful university, and you've made such extraordinary progress in such a relatively short amount of time for a university. So you're to be congratulated. In that regard, I wanted to emphasize one of the important elements of partnership and collaboration. We're very fortunate to have been announced as the #1 university in the world in the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings in Sweden just 2 weeks ago. Thank you, Professor Kumar and colleagues. Very proud to be acknowledged in that way, and we're the first Australian university to ever be first in a major ranking system in the world, so we have many reasons to celebrate. But one of the important aspects of the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings, of course, is that they are related to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, which we are very committed to, as you are. And of course, importantly, SDG 17, which is the partnership development goal. In other words, in order to progress in addressing the challenges facing us globally in relation to sustainability, we need to work in partnership and collaboration. That's crucial. And in that regard, our international partnerships with universities like OP Jindal have been key to our success. So today it's wonderful, so soon after that announcement of our success, that we've had an opportunity to sign this agreement to further the relationship with OP Jindal. And I think to begin conversations and discussions around a larger number of potential relationships that we can develop in the months to come. When I visit India later this year, I'm hopeful that we can consolidate further the partnership, because as I said, it will benefit us significantly as we seek to maintain our position on the top of a ranking system of over 1,500 universities around the world, because of our deep commitment to the SDGs, but in particular, our deep commitment to international collaboration and partnership. So I think that's one of the reasons that I was particularly pleased to have a chance to be with you here today, and to echo the very strong sentiments of Professor Kumar around the value and importance of this partnership to OP Jindal University. It is very fortunate, and I'm very pleased that this week alone, this is the third opportunity I've had to meet with colleagues from Indian universities, colleagues I know you would know well, Professor Kumar, who are either in this virtual format seeking to rekindle and strengthen relationships, and also to visit Australia again. I know Australian universities are once again reaching out into India. The bilateral relationship has never been more important. We all understand the global challenges that we're facing. India and Australia have a wonderful history. It's a great opportunity to strengthen that bilaterally. The Australian High Commissioner in Delhi, Barry O'Farrell, I'm sure, Professor Kumar, you have met Barry O'Farrell. Barry is a great supporter of Western Sydney University, a great supporter of our work in India in so many ways, so many facets of our relationships. So it's also timely that we are able to begin to strengthen mobility, student exchange, staff exchange, joint research projects, and potentially other ways of strengthening our collaboration. So once again, congratulations to everyone for their efforts in getting us to this position today, and to Amir and to Stella for all the work going on within the school. It's great to see, and Linda in our international office for all the work you're doing to continue to build our relationships in India. So thank you very much, and I look forward to literally signing on the dotted line with you, Professor Kumar. So thank you.
Yeah, I would request both. I would request to formally start the signing of the agreement between the OP Jindal Global University and Western Sydney University. I would request both the Vice Chancellors to sign and display the agreement to us so that we can take a nice picture to commemorate this event.
It's a bit hard to see, but there it is.
Please look at the smile. I'm giving
That's the signature page. So well done.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Now I would like to invite Professor and Associate Dean of the Jindal Global Law School and Director for this Center of Indian Australian Studies, OP Jindal Global University, Professor Sean Starr, to conclude this event with his remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Nishika. Thank you, colleagues and friends in Sydney. Well, it's a pleasure, isn't it, to be here, albeit virtually, and I echo the comments of both Vice-Chancellors that I look forward to a similar occasion in purpose, whether it's in person rather, whether it's Professor Rajkumar in Sydney or Professor Glover in Sonipat at some point later in the year. I'm hopeful we'll have a two-way physical exchange both ways this year, in fact. You know, I'm frankly surprised that we got through so much in the last 25 minutes. I thought it was going to get to 1 minute over when I had to give my concluding remarks, but I guess I have the liberty to speak for a few minutes now. I want to echo what Professor Barney Glover has talked about in terms of the importance of education in the Australia-India relationship, because there's been so many announcements this year with respect to the India-Australia partnership, and you know, whether it's the free trade agreement, whether it's you know, elevations in the last couple of years to a comprehensive strategic partnership. It really is fast becoming one of the most important relationships between both countries, you know, not just one way, but again, two ways. And I think we can talk about that in the abstract, but without institutional ties like this one, that relationship wouldn't be as strong as it is today. And I think it's been referred to a few times that this has been a long time coming. It feels like a lifetime ago when we all met in Sydney, both on campus and at Government House in Sydney as well. And so much has happened, and this is a fantastic stepping stone in the institutional relationship as we see the bilateral relationship growing from strength to strength. So now we have a fantastic student exchange agreement, this really innovative articulation agreement, and I'm sure there are many more things to come, and it'll be fantastic to talk you know, in more depth with Linda and her team about how we can collaborate on the impact factor as well, because we are the one of very few Indian institutions to be ranked in those same rankings, and I know that's an important focus for us institutionally, and I'm sure there's a lot we can collaborate on the SDG front as well. I will say that, you know, between Ashish and his colleagues and myself, both in banking and finance and in other schools, we get so many requests, an increasing number of requests from from Indian students, from our students, who want to study in Australia. So I think it's these innovative articulation agreements, like the one we've signed today, that will not only fill the gap and find places for the students who are demanding those pathways now, but it will catalyze more demand. And I think we need to make a bit of noise about these exciting and innovative agreements to show students that they have access to new and exciting pathways to literally ranked #1 institutions from an impact perspective, from world-class institutions. And we're looking forward to promoting this to our students and creating more innovative agreements across other schools as well with Western Sydney University. So thank you to my colleagues and to all of our friends at Western Sydney University for the hard work that's gone on behind the scenes. It's been, as we've all said, a long time coming and lots of meetings to lead to this institutional agreement. And I'm looking forward to this being one stepping stone in quite a deep relationship across many schools within our university. So thank you, and I'll hand it back to Nishika to close the meeting formally.
Thank you, Professor Sean, for your concluding remarks. I would like to take a very brief moment to talk about the behind the scenes of this partnership. My colleagues at both the institutions worked very hard to design this pathway. I would like to mention Professor Mohan Kumar, Professor Faisal, Professor Brijesh Nair, and Akhil from Jindal, and my colleagues from the WSU with Professor Stella Abu, Professor Amir Mahmood, Professor Anil Mishra, Professor Laurel Jackson, who worked tirelessly with us to iron out the most minute details of this agreement related to academic or administration work. I believe the students who will be a part of this partnership will benefit a lot from the way it is designed. So thank you for that. This wouldn't have been possible without your hard work, your innovative ideas, and a lot of patience. So thank you for that. And we at the OP Jindal Global University hope to continue enriching and strengthening the partnership with the Western Sydney University. I look forward to that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nishika. Since students are watching, sorry, it's still 3 minutes left. I can't believe we were able to complete everything with 3 minutes remaining. Countless meetings in the last 2.5 years virtually, and I have not really experienced a more efficient
Well,
meeting.
I think it just goes to show that we are very much in sync in our thinking
Absolutely.
around this relationship. And I think from my perspective, the exciting part is what we do beyond this. This is a great start but OP Jindal is, as the Vice Chancellor indicated a moment ago, you are a broader university than just the great work you're doing in business and commerce. So there are opportunities in other parts of OP Jindal for other sorts of relationships. I think twinning relationships, as they're called, of this variety will become even more prominent, and I think in both directions. Students beginning in India, completing in Australia, and vice versa. And I think that, as the Vice Chancellor indicated, this is a sign of new models of international education with India. So let's look forward to some conversations with Linda and our team over other areas, Vice Chancellor, if you're comfortable with that, where we might seek to develop.
Yes, Professor Glover. In fact, I was about to say that the law and the business schools and the banking and finance school is one thing, but I want to enter into the broader gamut of liberal arts, humanities, and international affairs. We have the Jindal School of International Affairs, the Jindal School of Government and Public Policy, the Jindal School of Journalism and Communication, the Jindal School of Art and Architecture, the Jindal School of Environment and Sustainability, something that your university has won international accolades. Also the Jindal School of Psychology and Counseling. So there's a whole range of opportunities out there, and we would like to build a broader and even a strategic partnership that will involve more schools working together with their counterpart at the University of Western Sydney.
Well, we should set the goal, Raj, to when we meet later this year, that perhaps we can sign an agreement to pursue some of those areas in more detail. That might be an objective that Linda could work on towards on our side with your colleagues, Nishika and others, because that would give us, I think, a nice focal point for a discussion. You mentioned arts and architecture, humanities, policy, and of course the environmental elements of which we're very strong. So if we couldn't find one or two areas to expand there, I don't think we're trying hard enough.
Yes, I'm sure we will. Great. Wonderful.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.